The band's narrative is concluded in Daisy Jones and the Six on Prime Video with a stirring episode. On the night of their biggest performance, all the interpersonal conflicts and artistic disagreements that had been feeding the fire for so long explode, changing everything for the biggest band in the world. Throughout the entire season, the reason for their breakup remained a secret. Viewers are given the solution in the final episode, which also reveals what happened to the group's members after their breakup. Here is everything you need to know about the show's ending. Major spoilers ahead if you have not watched episodes 7 and 8 yet. Daisy discovers how far she has plummeted after her near-death experience. When she realizes that Ricky would have left her for dead, she immediately cuts him out of her existence. She cleans up her act, cuts back on her substance use, and resumes the performance. She attempts to forge a lasting friendship even though she still has feelings for Billy. But when Camilla notices that Billy and she are together, she is compelled to give him a choice. Karen, meanwhile, finds it difficult to accept her pregnancy. Without informing Graham, Karen visits the clinic with Camilla and has an abortion. This plants the seed for another dispute that will break up the band. Eddie approaches his breaking point as well, particularly after Billy steps in to lead the song Eddie and Daisy were supposed to perform. He is compelled to tell Billy everything and announces that the Chicago performance will be his last as a result of Camilla's refusal. Except for Warren, all of the band members are nervous on the day of the performance. He is the only band member who has avoided getting involved in the quarrels within. Eddie is already listening, and he attempts to explain his point of view. Billy starts drinking again as a result of his stress over the possibility of losing his family, which causes him to make hasty choices. Daisy eventually jolts him back to reality. Although Camilla was aware that Billy and Daisy had a romantic relationship, she decided to give her marriage an opportunity. She asks Billy if he loves her when she sees them together, and when he doesn't answer, she realizes that he does. She leaves irate. Billy relapses into alcohol use as a result of the stress of losing Camilla and their daughter. He kisses Daisy just before the show begins, and she knows he is no longer sober. Billy consumes alcohol throughout the concert without being aware that Camilla attended. Calling her, he begged her to give their marriage another opportunity. However, she thinks that calling it quits would be best for them after seeing him and Daisy on stage together. Daisy is now aware of what is taking place. Daisy sees Billy as not being himself when he gives her another kiss and says they can be broken apart. He is behaving rashly, and their situation will not turn out well. Daisy also doesn't want to be hurt any longer. She doesn't want to start using drugs and pills again, which is what would happen if she and Billy started dating. So, when they get back on stage, she talks about love and loss and how these emotions should be calm and peaceful rather than something that makes you miserable. Billy decides to leave the show and go locate Camilla because he knows they are meant to be together. Billy and Camilla talk about their relationship's prospects while the members of the renaming band play. Billy makes a commitment to give it his all, goes back to rehab, examines his actions, and begins over in his relationship with Camilla. Daisy informs Rod that she will be quitting the band after the performance. She is at ease with her feelings for Billy and accepts that they cannot collaborate musically once more. Daisy and Billy don't speak to one another for the following 20 years. They part ways, and without the Six, Daisy forges a new route for herself. She acknowledges that she has been in a number of partnerships over the years, but none of them compared to her feelings for Billy. It's obvious that he still has emotions for her after all these years. Billy knocks on Daisy's door in the climactic moment. She beams at him, signaling that perhaps things will work out between them at this point. Billy explains at the start of the show that sometimes two people who are meant to be together don't cross paths at the right moment. He and Daisy experienced the same thing. Both of them were components of one whole. Daisy was aware that if she and Billy started dating, things would proceed similarly to her romance with Ricky. When Camilla receives a terminal disease diagnosis, everything is different. This is also the time that Julia, her daughter, begins recording her and the other members of the band in order to learn what occurred on the night of their last performance. Before the documentary is over, Camilla dies from her sickness.